Welcome to EverJeff. I just wanted to do kind of a vehicle review. I have got my 2020 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 with the 1LE package. I've had the vehicle now for a little over a month, and I just wanted to kind of go through and just kind of give my impressions of the vehicle, let people kind of know how it compared to my Corvette. I get that question asked a few times. The engine's the same engine that was in my Corvette. It's a 650 horsepower, 650 torque, LT4. It's supercharged. I would say the vehicle is very, very similar in driving to the Corvette. It's got low profile tires. These are track tires, so unfortunately these do not come with a whole lot of tread on them, as you can see. They are not very friendly in the rain. That is one thing that I would say is different about this car than my Corvette. The Corvette had Michelin Pilot Super Sports Cup 2s, but they were track tires, but you could ride in the rain as long as you were careful. It wasn't too sketchy. Just the other day was my first time driving in the rain in this car, and for anybody out there that buys the 1LE package, you need to be careful when you're driving in the rain. Not only are the tires, obviously they're high performance tires, they're wide profile, but they don't have a lot of water channeling on the Goodyears, and it is very easy to hydroplane this car. Just the other day, that morning that I drove, going down the highway, it's, at 45 miles an hour, any standing water, you've got to be really careful. A couple things that this car does have that I really love is the wing, visible carbon fiber. They did a great job on that. I've only found a few paint flaws in the paint on the car. Pretty much any new car I've ever owned, you're gonna have some paint flaws. At least every car, at least all the ones I've owned over the years, I've had some paint flaws. Usually it's gonna be something minor that you could get corrected if you wanted to. I personally am not gonna have any of that corrected on this car. But for example, right here, if you can see that, might have to be at a certain angle. It's just debris under the clear coat. There are a few spots like that on the car, but I think I found a total of 3. But unless you knew exactly where they were, you wouldn't even notice them. Also, just like any other newer vehicle, at least General Motors vehicle, you're going to have some orange peel. What orange peel is, and I don't know if this camera will pick it up very well, but it's almost like a waviness to the clear coat that you can see. You could spend the money to have all of that buffed out and wet sanded, but I mean, I personally bought this car to drive and to have fun with. I do want one of the C8 Z06s or the ZR1 whenever they announce those, but that'll be a few years down the road. And I just was tired of driving a non-high horsepower vehicle. Not that I drive crazy on the road. I do try to save that for track environment, but it's just, I don't know, it's like when you drive something that's got a V8 or a higher horsepower, turbocharged engine or something like that, it's almost like an adrenaline thing. You do miss that. I missed, just so that everybody knows, I went from a 2016 Corvette Z06, which the only reason I sold that car was to be prepared for a C8 when they came out. But when I sold that car, I didn't want to just have to depend on my wife's vehicle. So I went ahead and picked up a 2018 Chevrolet Sonic RS, just a little 4-cylinder. I drove that for a couple years, but it's not the same. I mean, obviously. Now, don't get me wrong, that car is a great car. I would take one, no problem. But it's just, I would like to have a performance vehicle as well to go along with it. My wife's got a Trailblazer, so anytime we're needing to just, have like a longer cruise or something like that for luggage capacity, we can take hers. But this car gives me the chance to where I can have fun with it, but it's also already prepped and ready to go for the track, which was the same as my Z06. Kind of do a couple videos of trunk and all that good stuff. It's not, the trunk is actually pretty big. It's just the opening. The opening on these, you're not going to put anything too wide. That is one thing I will say about the C7 Corvette. It's got a lot of rear cargo room. But this car's got the, another thing about this car is it does not have a spare tire. And these factory tires, when you get the 1LE package, the tires are not run flat. The reason why I know that is I found out on day one because I had a bolt. It basically was a cotter pin that at some point got put in the tire. I think I only had like 30 miles on the car when it was found. But luckily they was able to patch it because it was in the middle of the tread with a plug patch, so we should be good on that. But that's when I found out that underneath here, I'll move some of this stuff out of the way. So what you get is a bag right here, and it has a compressor in it. So this is your tow hook right here that goes, this screws into the front of your vehicle. Then you've got, I bought this because I had to take the tire out, just to kind of show you what's in here. So what you have is a compressor that you actually hook up into your auxiliary in the front of the car, and then you've got a can of sealant, and so you attach it to the tire, to the compressor, and then you just pump it up. I personally have never had to use one of those, so I don't know how well it seals and all of that stuff, but I do know from being years ago when I worked at Walmart, I worked in Tire and Lube Express, and that was one of the annoying things when you had to do a patch repair, was anybody that used Fix-A-Flat, because it is just so messy. So I did not want to go that route, so I went ahead and just jacked the car up. Luckily I was at my brother's, was able to jack the car up, get the wheel off, and go get it repaired. But in an emergency, this would work, or at least they say it will work. I personally like having run flats. I also had a tire go out in a 2015 Z51 Corvette that I had, and I drove it, for like 60 miles to the closest tire place. And, in a pinch, when you're needing to be able to get somewhere and not have to go out and jack the car up and deal with all that, it's pretty nice. But unfortunately, they just don't make very good run flats for these tire sizes. You can get them, but it's I know Pirelli makes them. Michelin has told me that they do make them, but I don't know. These tires, when I had the Super Sport Cup 2s from Michelin, I actually got like, I want to say 12,000 miles on that set of tires. This one's probably only going to get, I don't know, we'll see how they do, but I'll be shocked if I get that much, because this car is heavier, and I just don't know how well these are going to wear versus the ones that was on the Corvette, but we'll see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pop the trunk. Oh, and just to kind of show you this, so this car does have the PDR, Performance Data Recorder. It is right here is where the memory card goes. Something I found on that is, being that it's a memory card like that, I have had a couple files already become corrupt. Hopefully that's not a regular occurrence, because when I had the Corvette, I never had any files on that one. I could have just been lucky though. And it's kind of tricky because it's right inside here. So, LT4, supercharged engine. The 2016 that I had, the Z06, this was actually the lower profile. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think 2017 is when they changed that to be the higher profile. Same power and everything though, it's just the design of it. One cool thing, these vehicles do have the name of the builder on them. They are hand-built engines. One thing that you'll notice, this is not the magnetic ride control, because with the 1LE you get a different suspension. So, and that's another thing. Anyone that is buying this car that's not prepared for a stiffer ride will be in for a surprise. This car's got a few settings. It's got like touring, sport, track, and I believe it's got ice setting, but you're not gonna see a huge difference in those. Honestly, as far as like touring, from what I can tell, is you get more of a steering wheel feel. The steering wheel is not as tight, that type of thing. But as far as the ride harshness, with this setup, it's going to be bumpy. If you are used to low profile cars, it won't be a problem. But if you're not used to something like that, you definitely want to test drive something like this before you buy it. I was already prepared for that because of the Corvette that I had. It had the track package, the Z07 package on it. So I was, used to that. But somebody that doesn't come from something like that will be surprised. I do love the visible carbon fiber on it. This is just a wrapped hood that comes from nothing on this car. I've done no modifications. Everything is stock. I don't know that I will do any modifications to it, to be honest. The car is pretty awesome the way it is. If anything, I might like a louder exhaust, but that's not critical. Alright, so I'm going to go for a quick little ride in the car. Kind of get, your take on it. Let you kind of see and hear how the car sounds. Do a little startup video here. Tons of different light colors that you can do inside the car. I can get to it. Let's see, settings. I think it's under personal. Nope. Lighting. Ambient lighting. Okay, so there are all your color choices that you can do. Just clicking one, obviously it changes the colors. You got the lines there, then you also have them in the door, and then you also have them in the cup holder. It's a cool touch, I will admit. It is pretty cool. Pretty neat looking. You don't really see it too much in the daytime. I just keep mine on red because there is red stitching in the suede, in the package on all the seats, the seating, the piping, all the stitching is red. So anyway, and then this vehicle also has PDR, which I said before, performance data recorder. And then what this does is this going to allow, well, I'll just kind of show you. So if I start the recording right here, it allows an overlay. It's going to, the camera is actually up here. And we're going to stop it. And then you can actually view the recording inside the video. And so it's got the gear you're in, which this car is a 10-speed automatic. It is not a dual clutch, it's just a standard automatic, but I will tell you it's probably the best shifting automatic that's non-dual clutch that I've ever driven. It is very precise on the shifts, but you can go through and look at the videos, and it shows your tachometer, G-forces, speed, steering angle. It'll show you your gas and brake. It's pretty cool. So we're going to turn that on for the drive. And another cool thing is, if you go to a track that has a known, that's a known track, it will actually overlay the track GPS data and show you the track, the replay. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, so I'm gonna get on the road here, let you guys hear and see how it sounds. hope you enjoyed the ride. Stay tuned for more content. Have a great afternoon.